Yeah, yeah. I'm living my best life. Made a couple M's, you know. Said I'm living my best life. Said I'm living my best life.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Random Opinions, Reaction, and Reviews. If you don't know who I am by now, you gotta get with the program. Today we're coming to do a review on the episode that just aired on General Hospital today. Today is May 28th, you guys. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I actually want to start off with Kim and Drew. Now, you guys know Kim and Drew, they just recently lost their son, so they're all trying to, trying to get over it and trying to like live the best way they know how. They're comforting each other. They have this plan where they're going to take Oscar's his ashes to Mount Kilimanjaro and spread them. And so I think it's a really good idea. I mentioned that before when I did a video a couple days back when this plan first came up. The best way to live out Oscar's wishes, it's kind of hard having to let go. So kudos to them for being so strong, Jocelyn comes to meet Kim, and, Kim gives her Oscar's guitar that he had, and it was a beautiful guitar. Oscar taught Jocelyn some things, some notes on the guitar and stuff. So she was just happy to have received a beautiful gift like that, And I believe Kim is just happy that Oscar loved and he had the chance to be loved by somebody else on this earth for 15 years. So he enjoyed a love like no other. Drew comes and he tells Jocelyn gonna go to Mount Kilimanjaro and spread his ashes. And Jocelyn, she's sad, and I know she's dealing with having to be able to let go of Oscar as well. And I was thinking that she was gonna ask to go with them. I think it would have been a beautiful gesture, just because Oscar spent most of his last days with Jocelyn, opposed from his parents. Like, he wasn't always around his parents, and his parents, they knew that Oscar was happy with Jocelyn, so they accepted that he wanted to spend most of his time with her, So I guess this is their way of just having that one-on-one time that they needed with Oscar, and being able to do that themselves is good. So I guess it's kind of good that Jocelyn's not going, but I think that Oscar would want Jocelyn there as well. What do you guys think? Do you think Jocelyn should join them on this trip, or what? Now, on a side note, we know that Tamara Brown and Billy Miller, they're going to be temporarily exiting General Hospital for this storyline. I do not like that, because I feel like we need to see them grieve. We've been seeing it, but it would be a joy to see them grieve and to say goodbye to Oscar in that way, in that gesture. I don't know if GH can't find a good set to do this on, but if they can send most of their actors to a fake Niagara Falls, they should be able to do a fake, Kilimanjaro. I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you guys like to see this storyline played out in front of our eyes, or are you okay with, Kim and Drew exiting Port Charles and us not being able to see it? Let me know. Kim and Julian, I like them. Right now I'm a major fan of Jalexis. I like the Julian with Alexis. But I still like Kim with Julian as well. And Kim is just basically telling Julian that, even though she has a lot going on, she still has time for him. And she wants to know what's going on with him, Julian's being a good boyfriend by not trying to burden her with certain things. Because remember, he ended up getting locked up for assaulting Kevin, and she didn't know about it. So, she wants to be kept in a loop with what's going on with him, and she never wants him to feel like, she's a burden or that he's a burden on her. So I really liked those scenes between those two. And either way, if they decide to put Alexis with Julian or Kim with Julian, I'm okay. I'm here for it. I feel like they're both great couples in their own right. So we'll see where they decide to go from there. We had scenes today with Monica and Drew. And Drew, I thought it was a good gesture of him coming to ask for Monica's blessing to spread Oscar's ashes through Mount Kilimanjaro, instead of putting him in the Quartermaine crypt, because all of the Quartermaines are in the crypt. Their bodies are there. and you know, it's their memorial, and it's a way for Monica to stay close to her family. And she completely understood. She says, Oscar, he's a very special kid. He deserves to be happy in that way. She is so down for them to go and do that, because it was Oscar's last wish. That's all he wanted to do. Not all he wanted to do, but that was one of the major things he wanted to do that he didn't get a chance to live out while he was alive. So, you know, she's completely understanding. And while they're talking, Jason walks up, and he's coming to try to get a rush on the toxicology report, because he gave the mug to, I guess, Monica and everything. But so he comes up to them while they're talking, and Drew says to Jason he wants him to get a head start on the playground, or, you know, tree house that they're supposed to be building in Oscar's name. Now, mind you, Oscar wanted Drew and Jason to build this together. So Monica's like, no, Oscar wanted you guys to build that together. That's what we're going to do. And so Drew is like, yeah, you're right. So Jason compromises and says, you know what, I'll order all the pieces while you go on your trip. And when you get back, we'll be ready to build it. And they shake hands. This scene is a moment in time for me. Hallelujah. 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 Reason why I say that is because we know the history between Drew and Jason. Drew had Jason's memories, and he ultimately thought he was Jason. So now whenever he sees Jason, he sees a man that took his whole life. You know, he had Jason's wife. Drew was married to Sam. He was in love with Sam. And Sam ultimately was really in love with Jason and ended up getting back with Jason. So, I mean, he is a little jealous of the life that Jason has, because everything that he thought was his was actually Jason's. All his friends, pretty much, he felt like turned their backs on him because they sided with Jason against him. And he really had nobody in his corner but Curtis and Monica. So I know it brings back a lot of like hurt for him and a lot of betrayal. But just to see these guys handshake and try to be cordial is a good thing. And I know Monica is happy as well, because, you know, seeing her 2 living sons that she has left, being able to, you know, put aside their differences for Oscar is great. Now, I do wish Oscar was alive for this to happen, because this was Oscar's, one of his dying wishes, that, you know, his dad and his uncle would be like brothers, you know. And so I'm happy to see what comes next for these 2 characters. I hope that they continue to bond and build each other up and forge a relationship, because we want Jason to be close to his family, not just Carly and Sonny, you know. I get the bond that Jason has with Carly and Sonny can never be broken, but it's time out that Jason starts to build bonds and bridges with his Quartermaine family and feel just for them as he feels for Sonny and Carly. You know, one can only ask that much. Jason is what, in his late 30s, probably early 40s now, and he needs to start building those relationships up. And we've seen since Steve Barton has come back that the writers are trying to do this. So it's going a little slow, and it could be wrote better, but I'm glad that they're able to start exploring his life as a Quartermaine. You know, even though we know Jason will probably never ever be a Quartermaine again, it's good to see him be cordial with the Quartermaine family and to be there with them during holidays and things like that. Oh, that's a whole nother rant for a whole nother day, a whole nother story. You know, we have Ava, Scotty, and Julian. So Scott hears about what's going on. He is there for Ava like I would expect nothing less for. He is Ava's best friend. He loves Ava dearly. He has feelings for her. So of course he's going to be there for her, you know. And he's trying to get her to plead not guilty. And Ava's adamant. She knew exactly what she was doing when she stabbed Ryan in the back. If you guys need a replay, I could do that for you. Stay tuned.
You couldn't pull the trigger. You loved me. Move.
So she knew exactly what she was doing when she stabbed Ryan in the back. She is not wanting to plead not guilty. She was capable of all her faculties. Her brain was right, you know. And Scotty wants her to plead temporarily insanity, and she's like, no, I knew exactly what I was doing, you know. So Scotty calls Julian and tries to talk Julian into talking to Ava to get her to plead not guilty. And it's really bad, you guys, because Ava stabbed Ryan in the back while he wasn't looking, and he had on handcuffs in front of police witnesses, you guys. So if she ends up, you know, pleading guilty, she can go away for a very long time, you know. And not to mention, she is a Jerome, and they've been trying to get Jerome's and Corinthos's for a long time. So it's very inevitable that she not plead guilty. She has to plead not guilty. And I do believe temporary insanity is the best plea for her, because she did go temporarily insane. The man did some horrible things, horrible, foul, crazy things to her. He killed her daughter in her name against her wishes, slept with her after killing her daughter to get an alibi from her. It's horrible, you know. So I completely feel for Ava. And, you know, Julian does something, because only Julian is smart and knows how to work Ava, you know. And he's saying, look, Ryan might make it. He's not out of the woodworks. He probably will still live. If you plead guilty and you go to jail and you get locked up, and Ryan continues to live and he goes to a halfway house, he could possibly escape and all of this stuff, he'll still be alive. Justice won't be served. If you want justice served, you have to plead not guilty because of temporary insanity. Because once he gets out and he's able to get on his feet, you want to be able to come after him again. And Ava was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. You are right. I do need to make sure this bastard is gone once and for all. And she feels like she's the perfect person to finish this guy off, you know. So it was smart that Julian thought of explaining it that way. Because now Ava's like, you know what? I have to fight, because we have to make sure this guy is buried into the ground. And remember what I said in the last couple videos about delayed storylines? This is another delayed storyline. I'm pointing that out to you guys because I mentioned it before. Ryan is not dead. Are you guys serious? It took him one stab wound to kill Kiki, one stab wound to kill whoever else, but she stabs him right in the back near his vertebrae, and he's still alive. So Curtis is holding out hope that he can talk Ryan into getting, or that Ryan survives so that he can get a kidney for Jordan. Jordan is just too much for me. Jordan is sick and she is constantly trying to work. Why are you trying to work, Jordan? What can you possibly do to help anybody in the condition that you're in, Jordan? Let me know that. Let me know that. You are in the hospital and you're still working. I just don't get it. Sometimes Jordan Ashford can be very annoying, you guys. I don't understand. If they were going to kill a character off, they should have killed her character off, because she does no justice for the show. Literally, because she never does her job, you know. But she's sitting here worried about all the wrong things. She could possibly be dying. The kidney that she has left is no longer viable. You know, her heart is not viable either. Like, it's weak. And she's thinking about where Ryan Chamberlain is, if he's still alive, and this and that and that. No, you're thinking about all the wrong things, sis. Let's backtrack and let's worry about yourself first. Worry about yourself, okay? Worry about yourself. Anyway, Curtis is telling her, look, you know, we're trying to get this. We're going to make sure that we get you a kidney. And he doesn't know how he's going to talk Ryan into giving her a kidney. He doesn't even know if Ryan is going to make it. And Monica tells Jordan to take a leave of absence. Stop worrying about everything and worry about yourself, like I just said. So she just told her to take a leave of absence and, you know, focus on herself. And I'm just trying to figure out, if Ryan is as bad as they say he is, how do they feel that they can use his kidney? Like, wouldn't he be pre-diabetic too? Because I know when the body is trying to get over, you know, different things that have been done to it, and if you're sick, your glucose levels goes up as well. And you know, who knows? He could have lost a lot of blood too. So, you know, he might have deficient volume. Like his kidneys, are you telling me his kidneys will still be good even though he's going through what he's going through now? I just don't believe it. Like, the writers dropped the ball on that. Like, you mean to tell me Kevin was locked away and wherever he was locked up, and now his kidneys aren't viable because he's pre-diabetic, but then now all of a sudden Ryan's been stabbed in the back, he's fighting for his life in critical condition, and his kidneys are still viable to use right now? I'm sure if they took him out now, yes. But they have to wait till this guy recovers. They have to keep his kidneys good in order to, they have to keep them good in order to make sure that they can give it to another person. So I know they have to work overtime to preserve his kidney to make sure that nothing bad happens to it so that they can give it to Jordan like they're planning on doing. But who's to say that when Ryan wakes up, he's going to be cooperative, you know? Guess we'll have to see. But that's another way that they're delaying a storyline. Who's to say that Ryan won't escape from the hospital? You know, I mean, the guy, he's escaped so many times. Like, we just know this is probably inevitable. It's probably going to happen again. Because if they didn't kill him off when Ava stabbed him, what makes me think they're going to kill him off now? Delaying these storylines. He's going to pop back up in a couple months, a year from now. We'll see. I'm just thinking in the future, but it's just the whole Ryan escapes, Ryan comes back. It's too repetitive. They've done this already. Let's think of something new, something out of the box. Nothing, you know, whatever. Like I said, Julian, he talks Ava into this. She thinks it's a good idea. And the thing that Ava says, she's like, Julian and Scott, my knights in shining armor. If she can't depend on anybody else, she can always depend on Scotty and Julian to come through for her. And that's good because she is an outcast and everybody else hates her. You know, everybody else, they like, you know, it's like she's the worst person they've ever met in their lives. You know, Lucy doesn't like her. And she's not really done much to Lucy. You know, Michael doesn't like her in his own right. She deserves, you know, the hate that she gets from Michael because she killed Morgan. You know what I'm saying? Now Kiki's dead. But she's done a lot of bad things, so I understand why people don't like her. It's just annoying how people, they act like they're so holier than thou, and you know, so they hate her. But anyway, she can always depend on Julian and Scotty, and I'm glad that she has them in her corner. Then we have anyway, we have Christina talking to Alexis, you guys. And Christina is she feels deeply remorseful for the things that she's put her family through. She realized she was stupid to ever believe somebody like Shiloh, and she knows what's coming. She gave that pledge to Shiloh, so she's, you know, he has that hold over her, and she's finally able to tell Alexis and Neil that, you know, this pledge is something that he's going to hold over her. And Alexis is like, you know what, we can handle that. It's fine. You know, your father will handle it. And Christina was like, wait, Mom, my father? No. The secret was about somebody else. So Alexis was like, who was the secret about? And she tells her, like, Mom, I'm so sorry. Now, this explains why when Christina left the, this explains why when Christina left the cabin with her parents, she decided to go back home with Alexis. Because we all know that in any given day, Christina cannot stand to be around her mother. I'm thinking she was just deeply remorseful and very apologetic for, you know, the secret that she gave Shiloh. So she feels bad that she gave a secret to Shiloh about her mother. So Alexis was looking like, oh my God, what did she tell him? You know, and I did a video about this. You guys go ahead and check that out. It's called Christina and Dawn of Day. Well, Christina and DOD. Go check that out, where I reveal what I think the secret is and what, you know, because I'm in a lot of Facebook groups about Jason and Sam, and we all talked about these things and what the secret could have been. And somebody ended up getting a screenshot of Christina's pledge, the paper, the day she had to sign it, somebody paused their TV, zoomed in. You know, that's really good investigative skills and seeing what The Secret is about. So if you guys want to know what The Secret is about, go check out that other video that I uploaded on my YouTube page. Anyway, so The Secret is about Alexis. Now, I don't know how the writers are going to play this off, because The Secret that I know of isn't too damning about Alexis, but I guess we shall see. Alexis and Neil, I guess the writers are still trying to chem test between these two. I like them. Like I said, I like Alexis with Julian, but this Neil character, he could be very promising. He seems very understanding and very sane. Alexis needs a sane fellow in her life, because all her other boyfriends and ex-husbands have been, you know, kind of crazy. Speaking of ex-husbands, where is Jax at? We seen Jax a couple times during the nurses ball, and now he's disappeared. We need to bring Jax back ASAP. Can't wait to see him. Then we have Sam and Shiloh. Sam goes in to speak to Shiloh, and Shiloh's like talking to her, and he really thinks that she really outsmarted him, you guys. I didn't think it was possible, but I guess Shiloh is so narcissistic, he cannot even see when somebody is playing him. So he was just like, Sam, you know, I'm glad to see you, blah, 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 trying to start that old garbage. And Sam is like, look, game over. You've been got. And Shiloh is like, what are you talking about? You know, and he looked a little hurt, like he was confused or something, but he's so narcissistic. It's just crazy to me. So she's telling him, look, I outplayed you. I outsmarted you. You were disgusting to me every time you talked. Every time you tried to do anything with me, I was disgusted. But I finally brought you down. I did what I had to do to make sure I was safe, my family was safe, my sister was safe. I did it, you know. And while she's talking, Jason comes with the toxology report. And they pretty much got him at a stalemate from what the writers want us to believe. And they tell him, they try to bargain, give us Christina's pledge and we'll make sure you don't go to jail. Do I like that plan? No. Because what was the whole point of Sam doing all of this if they're not going to, you know, pretty much prosecute him? You mean to tell me you're going to let a predator continue to walk on the streets? If you let him go, he's going to continue to do what he's doing, you know? He's narcissistic. He believes in himself. He loves nobody but himself. And he's everything. You know how they say sugar, spice, and everything nice? No, he is everything opposite of that. He is a mess. He's a predator. He's a rapist. Like, he's an extortionist. He's a con artist. You know, they need to put this con artist away because he has gotten some heavy hitters in his pocket. And I don't feel like this is over between, you know, Sam and Shiloh, Sonny and Shiloh, whoever he's going after now. I don't feel like it's over, and I don't feel like he's going to bow out too nicely, you know. So we'll see what happens from there. I'm glad this whole Sam playing Shiloh storyline is over, but she definitely is still having some residual effects from being with this guy and being drugged up. And so Shiloh decides to give them the key to where the pledges is at, and it was in the tower, the DOD tower. And so they go back there, and Sam's having flashbacks from when she was drugged up with this guy, and he almost took advantage of her. And you know, she is like, ugh, like she gets the heebie-jeebies, you know, every time she thinks about this guy. And Jason is completely there for her, but they have a mission, and that is to get those pledges. So they find the pledges, and who do they have a pledge from? Margot Dawson, you guys. They found a pledge from Margot Dawson. Now, you mean to tell me this woman is a district attorney? She's so smart. She went to Ivy League schools, and she is smitten by this guy, and she was okay with what he did? You know, with him tattooing her? You mean to tell me she's this crazy? It's just, I don't understand it. So anyway, she's giving him a pledge, and so I guess we'll see what happens with her pledge tomorrow, but they end up getting Christina's pledge, and we'll see exactly what that is. Like I said, I posted a video with what we believe the pledge is, but we can't fully know until they actually fully tell us. So I'm excited to find out what that pledge is, but even more excited to see how Alexis deals with, you know, what Christina has done. I know she's going to forgive her and all of this, but I know Alexis has to feel a little hurt that her daughter decided to give a secret about her over a secret about her dad. Like, it's crazy to me. Wow. I would have never guessed that, just because Christina, like, she's always wanted to, her and Sonny were always at odds. So the fact that she ended up giving a secret about Alexis over Sonny is kind of funny to me. It's kind of hilarious, actually. So, and Alexis did not see this coming. The whole time she been thinking the secret is about Sonny and it's about herself. So that was funny. Even though they got the pledges, like, they didn't get the recordings that Shiloh has. So like I said, this guy is not gonna back out too easily, and I'm sure he has those recordings somewhere, and the recordings are actually of the people's voices. So it's actually Christina telling what somebody in her family did. So I think that's more appealing and more condemning, if that were to ever get out, than a freaking paper with a signature on it, because they, you know, they can always prove that this person signed it, but they can definitely do voice recognition and find out if somebody actually said what was being said, you know. So I mean, Shiloh, to me, he has one up his sleeves, because I don't see this guy backing out too easily. What do you guys think? Do you think Shiloh is done? Do you think that Sam outwitted Shiloh? Do you think that he's given up? Let me know. I want to know how you guys feel. Are you glad that this DOD storyline is over? Also, I would like to know, what do you guys think that Sonny and Jason are going to do with Margot's pledge? Do you feel like they're going to use it against her? Or do you feel like Sonny, because I kind of feel like he cares for Margot, do you feel like he's going to rip it up and throw it away? Let me know. I need to know in the comments below. I need to know in the comments below. So that's all, you guys. If you have any questions, any comments, any suggestions, let me know, because I am here for it. So I will see you guys later. Like, thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.
I finally made my mind up that I can't go back broke. They saying that my time up, my back against the ropes. I hustle, got my grind up, that when I made the most. I had faith every night and I never lost no hope.